That's how that story goes. No, it's time for us to get away from that. Challenge these men. They are men and women just like you. Well, I don't want to disrespect my elder. You think you disrespecting him by asking him a question that concerns the salvation of your soul? You can go out and buy a new car right now, and the guy can lay out the contract. Okay, this is the lease for your vehicle. And you're going to be asking them all kinds of questions. Well, what happened if I'm late a certain amount of days? How many payments before I pay this off? You asking all these questions when it comes to you buying a car. But when it comes to your salvation, you just believe whatever a person tells you with little or no questions. Boy, are we backwards. Enoch chapter 10 and verse 11. Maybe if we question these elders more, they'll do more research. They'll study more. They're like, man, today, man, they was all over me. Enoch chapter 10 and verse 11. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord said unto Michael.
Y'all all know who Michael is, right? Michael the archangel. Go ahead.
Go bind Semjaza and his associates who have united themselves with women, so as to have defiled themselves with them in all their uncleanness. And when their sons have slain one another, and they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones.
See, once the giants, the sons of the angels, have destroyed each other, go ahead.
Bind them fast for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth.
Bind Semjaza and the other of the 200 angels fast in the valleys of the earth for 70 generations. Said bind, in other words, lock them up. But angels are spirits, aren't they? So if they are spirits and they're locked up, then they must be in a spiritual prison. Because no earthly prison can hold an angel. He can walk right through the wall, or he can bust through the wall because he's strong enough to do it. But go ahead and read.
To the day of their judgment and of their consummation, till the judgment that is forever and ever is consummated.
Wait a minute. Lock them up until the day of their judgment. Remember that. They are locked up. They are banned up until the day of their judgment. Look how that's worded. We're going to read that again in the Bible, in the New Testament. Right? But, finish reading.
In those days they shall be let off to the abyss of fire.
They shall be let off to the abyss of fire. So now we see, after their judgment, they going to hell, right? Go ahead.
And to the torment and the prison in which they shall be confined forever.
So now we know they're locked up somewhere, and after that, they're going to be thrown into hellfire. And Gehenna. Not Hades, Gehenna. Because actually they're in Hades right now. We're going to show you that. But they're going to be tortured. But the point is, keep that in mind. They are locked up until their judgment. We're going to read that. But now, let's move on. Let's go to 2 Peter 2 and 4. Now check this out. 2 Peter 2 and 4. Now some of these mysterious New Testament passages are going to start making sense now. Oh, now I see what he meant when he said that. Which, by the way, if you ask anybody this who don't read the book of Enoch or who doesn't believe that those were angels in Genesis 6, they have no answer for this. Just sticking out like a sore thumb. 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 4. 2 Peter 2 and verse 4. 2 Peter 2 and verse 4. 2 and 4. Okay, go ahead and read.
For if God spared not the angels that sinned.
He said, for if God spared not the angels that sinned. Go ahead.
But cast them down to hell. And delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment.
Wait a minute. Cast them down to hell and deliver them to chains. What do you do with chains? You lock people up with chains. So they're bound. So you say the binds of darkness or bounds of darkness until judgment. Where do we read that? Where's that in the Bible where angels sinned and God got them locked up into judgment? Why do you read that anywhere in the King James Version Bible? Nowhere. So where did Peter get this from? Where did Peter get that some angels sinned and they got cast down to hell and they being held there until their judgment? Where do we read that at? That's in Enoch. Meaning, Peter believed the book of Enoch. He was familiar with it. But if you try to answer this just using the Bible, you got to be honest. I don't know what Peter's talking about. Jesus never said anything about this. Only thing you got is Old Testament and what Jesus said. Jesus never said anything about it, and you can't read it in the Old Testament. So where is it? Book of Enoch. That's where he got it from. And now we even know what the sin was. What was the sin? Because he said, Sim Johnson, he said, if we sleep with these women, I alone shall pay the penalty of this great what? Sin. The sin that they was talking about was sleeping with the women. Peter was reading Enoch, and he's writing this in his letters. If God didn't spare those angels that did it, he ain't going to spare us if we keep sinning and knowing better. But the significant thing is he said cast down to hell. Let's see what this word is in the Greek, translated hell. That is 5020 in the Greek section. The word translated hell. 5020 in the Greek section. Because he said he cast those angels down to hell that sin. And what people don't know, there's 3 words in the Greek that's translated hell in your Bible, in the New Testament. You have Gehenna, you have Hades, and now this one he's about to read right here. What's the word?
Tataru.
Tataru. And this is actually a verb. What does it mean?
From Tartarus.
From Tartarus.
The deepest abyss of Hades.
The deepest abyss of Hades. Which is the Greek equivalent of the Hebrew word what?
Sheol.
Sheol. But wait a minute. We had some black Hebrews try to get on YouTube and try to say that Hades just means the physical grave. That's all Sheol means. If that is the case, then you mean to tell me that angels are being held prisoner in a physical grave in the ground? Come on, y'all smarter than that out there. Y'all know they can't hold an angel. Hades is also a spiritual place. Sheol is the Hebrew equivalent of it. It says Tartarus. That is the name of the place where these angels are in the Greek. Tartarus or Tartarus. In the Hebrew it's called Takti Sheol, which means the lowest part of Sheol or the lowest Sheol. Hebrew, Takti Sheol, Greek, Tartarus or Tartarus. Where in the world did Peter get this from? Tartarus. And you know what's so funny? In Greek mythology, Tartarus is called the underworld. That's what people don't understand. Why would Peter use the Greek equivalent Tartarus for Sheol? Because all of the ancients knew he was talking about the same thing. He was writing to the Greeks, so he used a word that they knew that was talking about the lowest part of the underworld, which the Hebrews call Sheol. This is right here in the Greek. So you don't learn 2 things. You don't learn about Hades and Sheol, which relates to the afterlife. And you also learn that Peter was reading from Enoch, which is how he knew that angels sinned and got locked up somewhere. Didn't we just read Enoch that he said, bind Sim Johnson and his associates for 70 generations in the earth until the day of judgment? Then Peter said angels that sin are locked up in chains of darkness until the day of judgment. Is all this a coincidence? I don't think so. That's what you're dealing with here. But let's move on. Still in the Bible, let's go to Jude, verse 6. There's only one chapter in Jude. Jude 6. So you got to acknowledge this stuff. You can't run from this. We had a brother that just refused to believe those angels. We said, can you explain this then in Peter? What sin did these angels do? Where did Peter even get this? Show me anywhere in the 4 Gospels where Jesus talked about some angels that sin that are locked up in chains of darkness now until the day of judgment. How did Peter know about this? Where did he get this from? We're going to see Jude, which was another apostle, said the same thing. Jude, verse 6. Go ahead and read.
And the angels which kept not their first estate.
Now the angels which kept not their first estate, where did angels live originally? In heaven with God. Go ahead.
But left their own habitation.
But left their own habitation. So it said they left, right? Go ahead.
He hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day.
Wait a minute. He hath reserved in everlasting chains of darkness until the judgment of the great day. Isn't that the same thing we read in Peter, which we read in Enoch first? Locked them up until the day of their great judgment. Where did Jude get it from?